most gracious, most merciful. Good morning. My name is Zainab Chaudhry, and I'm here today as a spokeswoman for the Council on American Islamic Relations. Thank you to all of you for joining us here today. Our speakers that you will hear from today are leaders from the diverse various faith communities who wish to send a clear message that hate is not welcome in our cities. To all of our speakers, I thank you for being here today with us. As is customary, I ask you to please spell your first name and your last name before you begin. First, I would like to call to the podium Rabbi Charles Feinberg of the Congregation Adas Israel.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here. My name is Charles Feinberg, C-H-A-R-L-E-S. Feinberg, F, capital F-E-I-N, B as in boy, E-R-G. I'm here today to promote peace and understanding within our community, to counter the vicious ads that have been on the buses of our community. Generalizations are very important in the world of science, in the material world, but in the spiritual world they can cause anger and distrust. The Jewish people for centuries, since ancient times, generalizations have been made about us. Because a few Jews do X, then all Jews are whatever that is. And unfortunately, that happens too often within the United States and within our community about the Muslim community. Generalizations are made because of a few about the entire community. There are over, I believe, 1 billion Muslims in this world. Each of our faith communities has bad actors. That doesn't mean that all of us are bad actors. Each of our scriptures, our holy scriptures, have offensive passages in them about other people. The Christian scriptures, the New Testament, the Hebrew Bible, as well as the Quran. That doesn't mean that these scriptures should be believed about those particular passages. And it's the obligation of faith leaders to reinterpret those passages in the spirit of modern times. So I'm here today to counter those ads, to reach out to the Muslim community who have been horribly abused by these ads. Reports have reached us of how Muslims in our community have been yelled at, have been disrespected, and we feel that there's a connection between these ads and what goes on in the streets of our community. And so we salute CAIR, the Council for American Islamic Relations, and for this beautiful ad that promotes peace and understanding. We can find passages in each of our scriptures that promotes peace and understanding. The choice is ours. The choice is whether to love and to reach understanding or to be angry and to hate. I choose to love and to seek understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Feinberg. Next, I would like to call Nihad Awad, Executive Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations.
Thank you, Zainab. Good morning. Nihad Awad, N-I-H-A-D, A-W-A-D, the National Executive Director of CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations. Thank you all for coming. What we have seen on the Washington, D.C. buses in the past few weeks are not what this city is about. This city is about tolerance and coexistence, respecting one another, not only respecting but also defending diversity. We do not shy away from debates and disagreements on issues, but hate speech is a red line. And I believe that those ads have crossed the line in terms of what is ethical and what is designed to provoke thoughts and feelings among people. We know that these ads are part of an anti-Muslim, anti-Islam hate propaganda. It is well designed to confuse issues, to take things out of context, and to spread ignorance about Islam and Muslims in the city, in our nation's capital. Our response has been usual, ignoring provocations. But when we feel that there is a designed propaganda to spread false information, then we decide to act. And we acted in publishing this ad that went up on buses yesterday to send a message of inclusiveness, a message of tolerance, a message of interfaith cooperation, coexistence, and respect. And this is not from us. This is coming directly from the Quran. So we're letting the Quran speak for itself on how the Quran and Muslims tolerate other people, respect them, and defend their rights to be who they are. And this is the campaign that we are putting together, and this is the message that we are sending out. In addition to that, we would like people who saw the other ads and they would like to learn about the Quran, they're free to contact CAIR and obtain a free copy of the Quran itself. And here's a copy of it. And the idea is to provide the public with accurate and authentic sources about Islam. So we let the Quran speak for itself and let people learn about this. So I take it as an opportunity for us to inform the public about who we are. And I believe our message is the important message. Our message is the one that should be celebrated around this country, in our nation's capital, and around the world. We also have launched a crowd-funded campaign on Indiegogo platform to fund these ads, because we were not budgeting to counter hate campaigns like this. So we took it out of our limited budget, and we hope that our communities and those who believe in this campaign to go on the internet and support this campaign. So we have to match the fund that has been funding hate messages around the country. And just lastly, this is part of the anti-Muslim hate ad campaign, is part of a bigger picture. CAIR has published an important groundbreaking report. It's called Legislating Fear. We exposed the network of 37 organizations that have been dedicated to spread false information and prejudice about Muslims in America. And they have spent, between the year 2008 to the year 2011, what amounts to be almost close to $119 million. If you look at the chart next to the wall, you will see the network, the inner core of the Islamophobia in the United States. We believe that this is similar propaganda that was conducted against other minorities in this country. So to conclude, I thank our faith leaders for their courage, for their compassion, for their coming together to the Muslim community to send a powerful and cohesive message. And thank you for coming.
Thank you, Nahad. Next, I would like to call Reverend Ron Stife, the Executive Director of the National Religious Campaign Against Torture.
Thank you. I'm Reverend Ron Stief. I'm the Executive Director of National Religious Campaign Against Torture. Ron, R-O-N, that's the easy part. Stief, S-T-I-E-F. We, in the National Religious Campaign Against Torture, are a national network of about 300 organizations that reach into every state. All the faiths are represented, major and minor. One of the things we all agree on is that torture is immoral, torture is wrong. We also speak out about the hatred that is promoted in communities, specifically anti-Muslim hatred, which feeds into things about who is acceptable to torture, who is acceptable to hate, who is acceptable to target. So we have a very vibrant program combating Islamophobia. And so we're here to celebrate these bus ads that you see behind me and celebrate the step that the Council on American Islamic Relations has made to put these on the sides of buses to represent the truth of Islam. Islam is a religion of peace. The religious history of Muslims is replete with stories demanding that Muslims condemn abuse, condemn torture, condemn misinterpretations that lead to violence of any religious text. The Prophet Moses sacrificed his royal position to stop an act of torture. The prophet Jesus, or to Christians, Jesus Christ, was tortured. We all know this, in a brutal abuse of state authority. Islam is filled with stories of those who overcame the forces of evil who would do this in a society, and instead shine a light on the world and bring out the best, not the worst, in humanity. So Christianity and Judaism share with Islam this positive vision of life. My brothers and sisters here from the Islamic faith traditions stand here, I think, to pray that the result of this CAIR Bus ad campaign truly will be to share this vision of peace that Islam represents, and that it's shared widely, not just within the D.C. metro region, but with those who might see that those of us in Washington, D.C. took steps to counter what is a horrible distortion of our faith. So we stand together here, side by side, shoulder to shoulder, announcing our support in NEARCAT for this critically positive portrayal of our religion in the face of what we see out there. So yes, we are aware that there are those of all religions who will abuse their power and they will abuse their authority to present distorted lies for one purpose only, to divide us from one another. I wish we could ignore that part of why we were here and just celebrate that this bus ad is going up. The hatred conveyed by the anti-Islam bus ads, which this is in part a response to, is a turning away from the vision of peace, not a turning toward the vision of peace. This ad is a turning toward the vision of peace, and our world needs that vision to get out wide and far right now. So National Religious Campaign Against Torture firmly supports CAIR and all the other organizations who are with us on this, who will speak the truth of peace and come with our shared Abrahamic faith traditions to say, stop the violence, promote the peace, let's get together, let's be one nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. And lastly, I would like to call to the podium Seth Morrison, who is a member of Jewish Voice for Peace, but who is here representing himself as an individual.
Thank you. So I am, excuse me, I am Seth, S-E-T-H, Morrison, M-O-R-R-I-S-O-N, and I'm really pretty much an individual activist. I've been involved in a number of different Jewish groups, other community groups, and a major part of my personal focus has been working on peace in the Middle East and environmental issues. And through that, I've had the opportunity to really get to know a number of Muslims, mostly Palestinians, but Jordanians and people from other countries. And I've had the pleasure of getting to know them as people. And unfortunately, many of us who are Jewish, probably many who are Christian, just don't have the opportunity to interact. And, you know, I've been in people's homes and talked to them and had the opportunity to share common concerns, whether it's about the environment, about the Middle East peace situation, and in some cases about other political issues. And when you do that, you realize that we're all people. You realize the commonality of our faiths, although I personally don't, I am Jewish, but you know, I don't approach things from a religious perspective, but more from a human perspective. Because of some of the work that I've done, I've had the opportunity to take some Palestinians and bring them to synagogues and other Jewish groups to talk about environmental concerns. And in many cases, these were people who grew up, you know, under the occupation, but were concerned about the environment. And at these meetings, they'd be sitting down to people who the only thing that they ever heard about Palestinians was terrorism. But all of a sudden, they'd start talking about the environment and, you know, saving the Dead Sea and the pollution issues in Israel and Palestine. And they realized that we have a lot in common. And so when I happened to hear that CAIR was looking for someone to be in this ad, I quickly raised my hand, and I'm very, very proud to help to overcome some of the myths that are out there. And I was sort of hoping I'd meet my two compatriots in the ad, but one of these days we'll have to do that and meet each other. Thank you.